back, friends. This is Yvonne Davis, your traveling warrior astrologer. And today I'm talking more about Jupiter because Jupiter is still so important for astrological timing for success. So I'm going to talk about the houses and what Jupiter brings into those houses and what Jupiter represents in general. So the Jupiter energy is an energy of expansion. It's called the Great Benefic, and it can help you make your dreams come true. That's why it's so important to pay attention to what house it is in your chart, okay? So obviously you can look at your natal chart and see where your natal Jupiter is, but I'm actually talking about transiting Jupiter in this video. So right now, as I'm making the video, Jupiter is in Aries and will be all through June and July. And actually it'll be there longer, but it'll go retrograde for a while. So right now with Jupiter direct in Aries, it's a really good time to take action to make things happen in that area of your chart. So let's talk about what it does in each area of your chart. Now, as I said, it's the Great Benefic, and it expands things. So any house it enters, it's going to expand things. Jupiter is all about expansion, but also it's specifically about consciousness expansion. So in any house, you can experience expansion or whatever it's touching. Like if it's touching a planet, it's going to expand the energy of that planet. Any situation it's interacting with, it's going to expand that situation. So that's its general energy, but it's always trying to expand us in a way that allows more things to come in, allows us to have more experiences, allows our minds to be more expanded, and to learn more things, to expand our consciousness. It also is very much about education, any kind of education, because it's about consciousness expansion. And it's also about travel. So if you are wanting to travel, if you're wanting to go back to school or do anything related to Jupiter, then finding out where Jupiter is and when it's going to make a conjunction or a trine or a sextile or anything like that in your chart would help you to find good timing for success, okay? So let me just go through all 12 of the houses and give you a general idea of what area of your life is ruled by that house. Then when Jupiter is in there, it will expand your opportunities for anything related to that house, okay? So the first house is all about your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-image, and Jupiter will really help you to become more confident, and it will help you to also learn new things because it's all about consciousness expansion. So your self-image, your sense of identity, and even your personality can be impacted when Jupiter is in the first house, and especially the day that it actually conjoins your ascendant. It will like hyperactivate it, like it's injecting all this energy, this Jupiter energy into your personality and your sense of self. So you feel super confident that day. You may even be more outgoing than you normally are, and you'll be very optimistic. So that's what it does for you in the first house. And like I said, if you are needing to learn anything, it can really help you to expand your knowledge base, to learn new things, to brainstorm more, to be more creative and optimistic, and to expand your horizons. So that's really helpful. In the second house is it rules self-worth, self-esteem, expanding your income and your personal assets. So what Jupiter does when it comes into that house is it starts showing you the areas where you lack self-worth and you lack self-esteem, because it will create opportunities for you to sort of up your game, you know? Like when it expands your consciousness, that's in a sense what it's doing. So as an example, I had Jupiter in my second house while I was going through a year-long intensive training in nonviolent communication. This was a year-long intensive training, not just a regular training or workshop or class or anything like that. It was a year-long intensive training with 3 week-long retreats. And there were, I think, somewhere around 35 people in this workshop, and we all met each of those weeks during that year. And then when we weren't at the retreats, we met, I think, once a month, once or twice a month, in a group to continue our studies. So, wow, it was amazing. And I truly had some of the most profound, life changing experiences during that year. And it really did help me have some major breakthroughs in terms of my sense of self worth, my sense of self esteem, what I felt I was capable of, being able to mature in the sense that I relied less on childlike behaviors to get needs met. Instead, I was more capable of taking responsibility and just saying, I'm going to do this. I don't need to pretend like I can't do it. I'm just going to go out and do it. And so I grew tremendously during that year. And that ultimately led to expanding my income and my personal assets, because I then began to teach nonviolent communication. So that was amazing. And then the third house is specifically communication and learning. So when you get Jupiter there, you will tend to focus more on communication on a wider scale. Like, for example, you might actually, train in some kind of communication method, public speaking, writing, or taking classes, workshops, anything like that. You can be in school, but because the ninth house rules higher education, more often when you're in the third house, it's a less formal way of learning. It might be self-taught, it might be through workshops or some other kind of program that is non-accredited, although it doesn't mean that you can't be in an accredited program, because obviously if you were going for a degree or something, you might be there for anywhere from 2 to 5 years to get your degree. So Jupiter is going to go through many houses during that time. But you will notice yourself doing a lot more communication when it's in the third house. You'll be writing more. You'll be communicating more in different ways, like possibly public speaking and things like that. And then in the fourth house is all about real estate and travel, and buying or selling real estate. I mentioned travel because that's specific to Jupiter. When Jupiter is in the fourth house, it will tend to increase your degree of travel, because the fourth house is real estate, but it's also about where you reside. And so it will bring in opportunities for travel, because you may reside in your home, but you may also find yourself going to other locations, traveling abroad, maybe staying longer than you normally would have in those trips. And then the fifth house is fun, play, recreation, romance, children, creativity, and travel. So all those things will be expanded. You may take up a hobby or go deeper into a hobby that you already do. And because it rules recreation, there's another opportunity for travel, because Jupiter rules travel. It can bring travel into your life at any time, in any house it's going through. But I'm suggesting that if you are thinking about travel, if you're wanting to travel, you probably will have better chances when it's in your fourth house, fifth house, or ninth house. So keep that in mind. And by the way, I have done a lot of traveling recently, because it has partly to do with Jupiter, but partly to do with Neptune in Pisces, because that is my solar fourth house of home. And Neptune in your fourth house of home can also have the same effect. So yeah, I've been getting it like majorly, just travel, living a nomadic lifestyle and all of that. So I'm going to share some of that with you. If you want to see more, then head on over to my Freedom channel. There will be a link below and at the end of this video. If you want to see more of my travel videos, head on over there, check it out, and also subscribe to that channel. Okay, so then the next one I want to talk about is the sixth house of work and body. And when Jupiter's in this house, some people say you might overindulge and you might gain weight. I suppose that is a possibility. I found that I actually exercise more. I become more athletic when Jupiter is in my 6th house. So, so just know that you have the opportunity if you need to get in better shape, if you need to lose weight. Jupiter in the 6th house can help you with that if you become more invested in exercise and athletics. But it also rules work. And you will find yourself having a lot more work. Whether you stay in the same job or you're self-employed or get a new job, you're going to be working very hard. It just like it opens the floodgates and all this work comes in. So I always suggest to clients that one way to use Jupiter in the 6th house for success is to decide what your dream job is and go for it while Jupiter is in the 6th house, because the 6th house and the 10th house really give you the best opportunities for getting your dream job when Jupiter is there. Now, I'm not saying you can't do those things when Jupiter is in other houses. I'm just saying that your chances of getting your dream job go way, way up when Jupiter is in the 6th house or the 10th house. The 10th house rules career. Okay, and then when it's in the 7th house, that rules long-term meaningful relationships. So Jupiter will help you to meet a lot more people, and there will be all kinds of people, or spend time with more people, spend more time with the people you already know. It just really opens up your relationship house so that you meet new people, you deepen your relationships, you spend more time with people, and many of those relationships you will enjoy. Whether or not they will last, I can't really say, because Jupiter is not the one that makes those decisions. It's more Saturn that makes those decisions. So those relationships may last or they may not, but you will have fun while you're in them. The 8th house is all about finances. So Jupiter will really help you to improve your finances. It'll help you improve your FICO score. It'll help you get more credit if you want to, increase credit limits, get new credit cards or lines of credit. If you want to finance buying a car, or if you want to get a mortgage, or if you want to make investments, or even play the lottery, although you have to have the right alignments, because believe me, I have tried over the years and I've never been able to win the lottery no matter where Jupiter was, but who knows, maybe you'll be luckier than me. But it does actually rule the lottery. So does the 5th house. But again, you have to have like really good alignments all across the board to be able to win the lottery. So I'm not saying that just because it's in the 8th house that you'll be able to do that. I'm just saying it's a possibility. But you can also get financing for school if you want to go back to school. So I did that when Jupiter was in my 8th house. I was able to get financing to go to film school, which I did when I was in Cape Canaveral. And then the 9th house is the house that Jupiter rules, okay? So Jupiter is all about travel, education, expanding your mind, expanding your consciousness, expanding every opportunity in your life. And in the 9th house, it really wants you to go out and expand your consciousness. So it wants you to travel, meet new people, expand your education, so many things. So I had Jupiter in my 9th house starting in late December 2021. And again, I was going to film school, and I was also traveling a lot. I've definitely done a lot of traveling, even just in the first 5 months that Jupiter has been in Pisces. Now it's going into Aries, so it's actually going to stimulate different areas of my life. So you can look at your chart too and see where it's getting activated. And then it will go back into Pisces until the end of 2022. Then it will move into Aries. And all total should spend about a year in Aries, because it usually spends a year in each sign. All right, so let's get on to the next one. That's the 10th house of career, fame, social status, and recognition. So if you're looking for your dream job, or to change careers or expand your career, up your game, all those things, get a promotion, all those things can happen during Jupiter in the 10th house. It also rules, the 10th house rules fame, social status, and recognition. So you can win awards at that time. You can win contests. People just seem to notice you more and appreciate you more. And it just makes things so much easier if you're trying to improve your career status or social status in general. The 11th house rules social networks, friends, and associates. So if you want to meet people, this is another really good opportunity. When Jupiter's in your 11th house, you have the opportunity to meet so many people. And I know myself, I am looking forward to that because working in the business that I work in, I mean, I enjoy meeting new people anyway, but working in the business I work in, you know, the more people I can meet, the more I can expand my business. So obviously, I really enjoy that. Plus, I just like meeting new people. I like interacting with people, like on YouTube or on my Patreon channel or in my classes or doing my readings. I really enjoy that, those relationships. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, and then in the 12th house, the 12th house rules solitude, spirituality, retreat, releasing, letting go, therapy, and psychological healing. It's not necessarily the funnest house, but it's necessary because if you allow yourself to do the things that you need to do when Jupiter or any planet is in the 12th house, you can benefit from it so that when it then moves into your first house of self, you're ready to start a whole new cycle. So there's this releasing and shedding that happens when a planet is in your 12th house. So certainly when Jupiter is there, you're going to be letting go of a lot of things, releasing a lot of things, clearing out clutter. It's not just like on the surface, letting go of relationships that don't serve you anymore, letting go of situations that don't serve you anymore, letting go of attitudes and belief systems that don't serve you anymore. Shedding all of these things because they're just not serving you anymore and they need to go. And it's like taking out the garbage. You know, you have to take out the garbage because if you don't, you can't walk in your house. And if you've ever watched that show Hoarders, imagine a person who can't do 12th house work. I mean, just simply cannot do 12th house work. They can't let go of anything. They hoard everything. And I've seen people on that show hoarding things that you would not believe. Things that should be flushed down the toilet, for example. There was a woman who had like, I think a dozen dead cats in her house because she hoarded so much she didn't even know when her cats died. And they just desiccated, you know, under piles and piles of garbage and junk. So, I mean, those are extreme situations, but really, I'm serious. You have to do your 12th house work. You have to take out the garbage. And that means everything on all levels of your life, you know, relationships that aren't working anymore, situations that aren't working anymore, a job that's not working anymore, and, you know, housing situations that aren't working anymore, toxicity, let it go, you know, shed it, say goodbye to it, take out the trash, clear out the clutter, clean your house, or move for that matter if you need to. And that's on the external level, but on the internal level, you need to do that too. You need to let go of thought patterns that aren't working anymore and let go of pain from the past, let go of trauma from the past, let go of toxicity from the past. And that's why if you can do therapy or any kind of therapeutic work during Jupiter in the 12th house that whole year, then you will come out of it a completely different person. And then when it starts a new 12-year cycle, you will be just at a totally new level. And you'll get the absolute most out of it that you possibly could get. So it actually can be really exciting if you think of it that way. Like, you know, you're just going to take that whole year to really do everything you can to up your game, and it'll be worth it. All right, so that is Jupiter through the 12 houses. All you have to do is just find out where Jupiter is, which is pretty easy if you're paying attention to astrology at all. You know, if you read astrologers or if you watch astrology channels, which you obviously do, or if you Google, or if you use a planetary calendar, anything like that, you're going to know where Jupiter is virtually at all times, because it moves slowly enough that you're going to know when it's changing signs, and you can look forward to that. And then the second thing is to know what house that is for you. So right now it's in Aries. What house is that for you? Aries naturally rules the first house, but that doesn't mean that everybody has Aries in the first house, okay? If you have an Aries sun sign, then Aries is your solar first house. But you also want to know your first house from the ascendant, which could be completely different, okay? So as an example, I have a Sagittarian sun and a Cancer ascendant. So for me, Jupiter is in my 10th house Aries because I have a Cancer ascendant. So you have to know what your ascendant is in order to know where Aries is in your chart. And everybody has Aries. I've had some people, I don't know why this happens, but I have had occasionally people come on to my YouTube channel and leave a comment, something like, I don't have Aries in my chart, or I don't have Libra in my chart, or whatever, you know, I happen to be talking about at the time. They absolutely insist they don't have that in their chart. And that is absolutely not possible. Everyone has all 12 signs, okay? Everyone. Because the zodiac is a circle with 12 signs, and everybody has a zodiac. So everybody has all 12 signs, okay? You might not have any planets in one particular house or sign. I use whole sign houses. So that means that Aries is the first house, Taurus is the second house, and on and on and on. So when you shift and say, for example, if Cancer is your first house ascendant, then that puts Aries in your 10th house. And since I use whole sign system, that means that the house and the sign are exactly the same. Okay, that's what whole sign means. So anyway, everybody has all 12 signs. All you have to do is find out where Aries is in your chart. Even if you don't have any planets there, Jupiter is now transiting that house, which means it's transiting that area of your life, okay? I don't have any planets in the 10th house, and I don't have any planets in the second house. But when Jupiter was in the second house, I told you what happened. And it was one of the most extraordinary years of my life. So it actually doesn't matter if you don't have any planets in the house. Having Jupiter transiting there will change your life, okay? So that's what you do next, is you simply find out where that house, that sign is in your chart, what area of your life it rules. Then you know what area of life Jupiter is bringing all its benefits to, okay? So that pretty much sums it up with Jupiter through all 12 houses and all 12 signs. And you just need to know where it is for you. Then you can know where it's benefiting you. And you can take advantage of that. If you want to support my work, then please do subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to this channel. All you have to do is click. It just takes 1 second. And also, if you like this video, please like. Thank you so much for doing that. And please leave your comments below. Let's build this community together. Let's get a conversation going about this, because this really is an exciting topic. And if you think you know someone else who could benefit from this information, then please share this video with friends and family and on your social media. All right, so that's it for today. Oh, one more thing is, if you want to be a part of my Patreon community, you can get in for as little as $5 per month. I try to do Zoom meetings at least twice a month. And I also, those are live Zoom meetings, and they're recorded if you can't be there. And also, if you need a reading, there's always a link below. And the last thing is, I'm going to be offering a workshop on this topic of astrological timing for success. So if you want to take that class, check out the link below. And if you also want to do astrology basics and you do them as a package, then you'll get a special deal. All right, that's everything. So I will let you go, and I will see you again in the next video.